Okay, so today we're going to begin doing 3D work in CAD. So far we've dealt with our X and Y dimensions. So today we'll begin adding a third dimension, which is our Z dimension, so X, Y, Z. And when we design stuff in 3D, it's very similar looking to our isometric drawings before. So you can see up here on the screen, looks like I just have that same box that we had drawn before. The main difference is that since this box is actually in 3D, I can grab my little cube here and actually move it around, and I can actually see what my object looks like as I rotate it around here. So I'll show you how I got here. So we started off with a new drawing here, and I'm just going to open up my basic template. So this all looks familiar. And I'm going to go up here to draw and 3D modeling. And we have a little sub menu here that has the top here is just a bunch of different three-dimensional shapes. So I'll start off with box here. And my cursor, I will click here, and then everything here looks just like it normally does when using my rectangle tool. So I have 6.5 by 5. But when I click again, now it's asking me for a third dimension. So this is going to be my Z dimension here, and I'm going to go out. We'll go out 5 units on this as well. I know everything still looks totally normal, like we would expect it to look. But if I grab my view cube here, you'll notice as I move this around, I can start to move my grid around, and I can see that I actually do have a three-dimensional object. Now there's a few different ways that we can view our object. We can start by going to View here, and then down to 3D Views. And we have Top View, which is kind of the view that we're most familiar with. I can go to View, 3D Views, and do bottom, left, right, and it'll just show me my object in all those different views. I can also click different parts of my view cube up here to bring in, I can do all kinds of different dimensions here. And then I can click on a corner here to see different edges of my cube. We can also access these on the upper left-hand corner of your screen. We've got these same views as well. So really quick and easy way to go to all of your different views. So we have our regular views here, and then the different isometric views here on the bottom. Now just to the right of this section, you'll see right here it says, currently says 2D wireframe. So this is the way that this cube is currently being displayed. If we click on this, we have a whole other menu here, and the first option I'm going to go to is conceptual. And this actually gives us some shading on our cube with some kind of different lighting options. And hidden is where it's not showing the backline. So before I had my, I kind of had like X-ray vision here. I could see the lines going all the way through. It was just like a glass object or something. Hidden is going to turn it solid, so I'm not going to see lines that would be behind actual matter. Realistic is just another shaded option, which is kind of a nice way to work. And then shaded is another kind of variation of that. And shade with edges, same thing, but I have lines here along my edges. Shades of gray. Get rid of all your colors. Sketchy. It's kind of a fun one that sort of makes it look like you've sketched something in pencil. So back in the day when somebody was designing something, the first thing they did was kind of sketch an isometric drawing of it. And so here's kind of a quick and easy way to have CAD sort of simulate a hand-drawn sketch. and wireframe, which is virtually identical to the 2D wireframe. And the last one is X-ray, which is kind of cool. Depending on how thick your object is, it's actually going to kind of shade it differently, so you can kind of get an idea of the depth of objects and stuff as well. So those are our different views, and they call them visual styles, are all of our different styles here. So I'll go to realistic. And I will go to a isometric view. So now let's go over some of the shapes. So I just did box. Now we'll draw 3D modeling, and I'll do wedge. And I'm just going to first draw a rectangle and then add depth to it. So you can see I can quick and easily draw wedge. Next one is a cone. So we start by drawing a circle, and then we can build a peak from it. Next one is a cylinder, so I'll throw that behind my box there. And another one is a torus, which is fancy for donut. And our last one is a pyramid. So again, we start by drawing a rectangle, and then add our depth to it. And then the last thing to do is I'll just briefly kind of go over some rudimentary ways of moving your objects around. So what you do is you click on an object, and then you'll notice AutoCAD kind of gives me these arrows that point in different areas. So if I just wanted to move an object around this axis, I would click on that axis, and now you can see I'm just sliding it like that. If I wanted to move up, I would go like that. And what's nice about using these axes to move things is sometimes you kind of think if you just grab an object and move it, you could have accidentally snapped it to something. So it can look as if this is perfectly placed one way, but then I look and realize that it's not actually all the way inside, it's only halfway down, so and move it more this way. So it can be difficult moving objects around in 3D space. So we've got these arrows here for just moving them on the axes, or you can click on these different rectangles here. It's a little bit more intricate. But by doing that, now I'm just moving the object around on this plane. So, for example, I could move my box right there, and it looks like it's perfectly centered in, with all these objects. But when I look at it from a different view, I realize it's not. It's actually far above these objects and above my donut. So that's where being able to use these boxes to navigate gives you a lot more control of how you move things around. So this just comes with practice, and that's your assignment for today, is just kind of draw something that encompasses all of these shapes and be creative, make something cool.
So just draw the shapes.
That's pretty much it. Did I tell you to do something else?
It said to just draw them.
Draw. Yeah, so just explore these different objects, draw them all, and you can build something, get creative. Just like any other object, I can click on them and I can change which layer they're in, so that'll also change their color if you want to kind of get creative that way.
Are there any objects now in this?
There is. So you'll notice when you click objects, some things have snappable objects and some don't. But I could say click this grip point here, and I could snap it just as I would a two-dimensional object right to these shapes. And then now when I look, I can see that that is perfectly snapped to that one point. Any questions at all on our 3D objects, moving, panning, or our different views or visual styles? Awesome.